Today I'm going to show you how to align program level outcomes with your assignments in Canvas. The first step for this is simple enough. We need to go into the outcomes area of your course and import the program level outcomes into your course. To do that, we click on Outcomes. And in Outcomes, the only thing we're really worried about at this point is Find. Right now we have no outcomes in here. We need to find and locate outcomes that have been already created for you to allow you to make that alignment a more simple, streamlined process. So I'm going to click on Find. It brings me to a folder that says Account Standards. I'm going to click on that. Now this I'm working in right now as a business class. Yours would either be business, CAS, College of Arts and Sciences, or education. Mine is business, so I have the business option here. You want to drill down as deep as you can, to be in the most specific folders that you can. So ignore the Eastern Oregon University folder, go straight to your specific college. And in here, we have different categories of institutional outcomes. So what I'm looking for here is I'm going to add some in from Inquiry. I'll click on Inquiry, and that gives me a list of the different outcomes under Inquiry. I'm going to add Analysis. This is going to be part of an assignment I'm using in this class. I'll go ahead and import that. Okay, that. And so now that Inquiry 4 is part of my course now. It's been added to my outcomes. Now I can actually apply this to an assignment. Let's add one more just to show you how you can actually add more than one to a specific assignment. I'm going to go ahead and find again, and in this inquiry, let's also maybe have one in here for topic selection. So I'm going to click on topic selection, and I'm going to click on the import button. Okay, that, and now I have those two outcomes in my course, and they have been successfully imported. If you don't do this step first, you will not be able to actually see these when you're looking for your outcomes on your assignment. So at that point, let's call that part good. Now I want to apply these to an assignment. So I'm going to go into my modules area of my course. I'll click on modules, and here's my module layout. The one that I want to work on is my week 1 assignment, which is the outcomes example I have here. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Now, I can only add a rubric to an assignment that has been created. So while you're creating your assignment, you cannot add a rubric. You can only do that after you've saved it and it's there. It doesn't have to be published. It can be unpublished, and you can still add a rubric, but you cannot add that rubric until the assignment actually exists. So now that it exists, I'm looking at it, I can click on Add Rubric, and I can name this whatever I want to. I'm going to call this Outcomes Example Rubric. Or if I have already created a rubric that I want to apply to this particular assignment, I can also come over here and find a rubric and access all the rubrics that I've created in all of my different courses. Any course that I'm an instructor of. So I can look at the BA 550, I can look at the discussion board rubric and add that in if I want to. I'll go ahead and do that. So here's a pretty extensive rubric that I've already created. Once this rubric is attached to the assignment, I also want to apply those institutional outcomes to this assignment as well. So I've got this discussion board rubric. I want to edit the rubric. So I can click on the little pencil here, and I want to add those outcomes to this rubric. So if I come down here, there's an option here to add criterion, which will add another row of whatever the different criteria is here. Or I can click on Find Outcome. And I want to go ahead and click on Find Outcome. And had I not imported these into my class, I would not be able to see any. There would be no outcomes here to look at unless I'd created them myself. And that's the key to this, is you cannot create these outcomes yourself. You need to import them from the institutional level. If we do not do that, then the tracking will not work for the data reports and things that we run to track all this information. So it's super important that you follow these specific directions and pull those same outcomes that everybody else is using. I'm going to go ahead and add Inquiry 1 here, topic selection. And there's a checkmark box here that says use this criterion for scoring. This is not necessary. If I don't want to actually score the student on these particular items, I can just uncheck that, and suddenly this is no longer going to be worth any points in my rubric. So I've unchecked that. I'm going to go ahead and click on Import, and I'll OK that. And now you can see that here is my inquiry that's been tacked on to the bottom of my existing rubric that I pulled in from another assignment. And then over to the right of this, you'll see that while these all have particular points that values that they're worth, this one does not, because it's not going to be used in the scoring. If I want to add a second, that second inquiry criteria to this particular rubric, I can continue doing that. I can go ahead and click on Find Outcome again, and this time I'll do Inquiry 4, Analysis. I'm going to uncheck that again, because I don't want to use this to score. I'll go ahead and import that and OK. And now I have both of those aligned to this particular assignment. There are a few other checkmark boxes down here at the bottom. If you're not familiar with using rubrics, this might be kind of important to know. If I suggest you never use this I'll write freeform comments. This can add a lot of work to your grading. However, this use rubric for assignment grading is really handy. Once I have it the way I want it, I click on Update Rubric, and there's my updated rubric. I have kind of the best of both worlds here. I have the power of creating my own rubrics here, where I can track and assess the students how I want, and then I also have the institutional level outcomes down here that really don't affect the grading of the assignment, but they do track mastery. And so students, depending on what level of mastery the student achieves, that will be tallied up and reported for institutional purposes. Let's go over to Student View to take a look and see what that looks like from a student perspective. I click on Student View in the settings of my course, and I'm going to go into Modules, and I'm going to click on the Outcomes example, and the student can actually see everything there is to see with not just the outcomes, but your rubric as well. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, please contact Help Desk by submitting an email to helpdesk@eou.edu or contact us at 541-962-3111. Thank you.